Karen said vendor sold rotten fruit, then got caught planting spoiled ones herself. The farmer's market buzzed with life, a kaleidoscope of colors and scents under the amber glow of a late summer evening. Stalls overflowed with ripe tomatoes, glossy apples, and fragrant herbs, drawing a crowd of locals eager for fresh produce. Among them was Karen Mitchell, a woman known for her sharp tongue and sharper expectations. She moved through the market with purpose, her eyes scanning for flaws, her designer purse swinging like a pendulum of judgment. Karen had a reputation. She demanded perfection and had no patience for anything less. To her, the market was a battlefield, and she was its self-appointed general. At the far end of the market stood Eli, a vendor whose weathered hands told stories of decades tending orchards. His stall, a humble wooden stand, brimmed with peaches, plums, and apples, each piece polished by care. Eli was soft-spoken, his eyes crinkling with kindness, but today, his brow furrowed as Karen approached, her heels clicking ominously on the cobblestones. "These peaches are garbage." Karen's voice cut through the market's hum, sharp as a blade. She held up a peach, its flesh brown and oozing, and waved it like a flag of accusation. The crowd turned, murmurs rippling. "You're selling rotten fruit, and you think people won't notice? This is a scam." Eli's face fell, his hands trembling as he reached for the fruit. "Ma'am, I check every piece myself. That can't be from my stall." But Karen was relentless, her voice rising. "You're lying. I've got proof." She pulled out another spoiled peach from her bag, then another, piling them on his table like evidence in a trial. The crowd grew, phones raised to capture the drama. Karen's accusations painted Eli as a fraud, a man preying on trusting customers. Eli stammered, his weathered face flushed with shame, but Karen pressed on, her words venomous. "People like you ruin this market. I'm reporting you." The air crackled with tension, and Eli's livelihood seemed to teeter on the edge of her words. Then came the twist. A soft voice broke through the chaos. "Wait a minute." It was Lila, a teenage girl who worked the neighboring stall, her apron stained with berry juice. Lila was shy, often overlooked, but her eyes were sharp, and she had been watching Karen closely. "I saw her," Lila said, stepping forward, her voice trembling but resolute. "She put those peaches in her bag before she got to Eli's stall. They weren't his." The crowd gasped, heads swiveling to Karen, whose face froze, her confidence cracking like thin ice. Lila pointed to a small pile of discarded fruit near Karen's feet, hidden behind a crate. "She dropped some earlier. I saw her pick out the worst ones from the trash." The market fell silent, the weight of Lila's words sinking in. Karen's eyes darted, her lips parting to protest, but the crowd's gaze was unrelenting. A man in the back, holding a phone, shouted, "I got it on video. She was digging in the compost bin." The evidence was damning. Karen, the accuser, had been planting spoiled fruit to frame Eli, her outrage a carefully crafted lie. Karen's facade crumbled. "This is ridiculous," she snapped, but her voice wavered. She grabbed her purse, pushing through the crowd, but the market had turned against her. Whispers became shouts. "How could you? You tried to ruin him." Eli stood motionless, his eyes glistening with a mix of relief and betrayal. He had nearly lost everything: his reputation, his stall, his dignity because of Karen's deception. As Karen fled, the crowd rallied around Eli, offering words of support and buying his fruit in droves. Lila, still shaking, returned to her stall, her quiet courage the spark that had shifted the tide. But the victory was bittersweet. Eli, though vindicated, felt the sting of distrust. How many others had Karen targeted? How many vendors had faced her wrath and lost? The market, once a place of community, now felt fragile, its trust fractured by one woman's vendetta. Karen's motives remained murky. Some said she thrived on control, others whispered of a personal grudge against Eli, perhaps tied to a past slight. But the truth was simpler and sadder. Karen was a woman trapped in her own bitterness, lashing out to feel powerful in a world that often ignored her. Her lie had backfired, exposing her to the very judgment she feared. She disappeared from the market, her name now a cautionary tale whispered among vendors. Eli, meanwhile, rebuilt. His stall thrived, thanks to Lila's bravery and the community's support. But late at night, when the market was empty, he would sit by his stall, staring at the peaches, wondering why someone would go so far to destroy him. The answer eluded him, a wound that lingered. Lila, 2. Carried a quiet burden. She had stood up to Karen, but the memory of that moment, of speaking truth to a crowd, left her both empowered and haunted. The market moved on, but the story of Karen and Eli lingered, a reminder of how quickly trust can unravel and how fragile justice can be. It was a tale of deception, redemption, and the power of a single voice to change everything. Yet it left a bitter aftertaste. Karen's downfall was deserved, but it came at the cost of a community's innocence, a reminder that even in a place of abundance, cruelty could take root. What do you think? Was Karen's punishment enough, or does justice demand more? Share your thoughts on where the line between accountability and forgiveness lies.